this tea in case I need it. There it is. Down a bit. Good morning.
Good morning.
I feel like I'm just looking at this. And I am honored all of my spiritual community, and I got a fan club out back there. Thank you all. So when our very busy and deeply appreciated Reverend Eileen realized that she had double booked herself for today, I was asked if I would be the speaker. I know that Eileen is a multitasker because I've seen her in action, yet like me, she hasn't figured out how to have a clone. What's going on there? So this weekend, she is at the Center for Spiritual Living Conference in Canada, and I'm sure we'll have the privilege to hear about that when she returns. And I get to share with you for the first time since December of 2023. So being completely honest, when I realized I was a fill-in, I gotta get this photo out of the way here. My unruly and perhaps somewhat insecure ego almost said no. Then I consulted my heart and I realized that this is a gift for me and hopefully for all of you. And the theme for the month that is now chosen by the CSL Home Office is On the Wings of Love, and that resonated with me. Unlike in the past, we are also told our talk title, which is also chosen by the head office. And today's is Love's Ascent, and I liked that too. I was given 3.5 pages of discussion points to make it easier, but that didn't feel like me. So I realized after giving and naming 45 presentations for our center starting in 2014, I'm a bit stubborn when it comes to choosing my own talk and title. Okay, more than a bit. And Tanya, I want to thank you for all those opportunities. I counted, I looked at all of them, and I did like 45. Thank you.
We're so lucky to have you.
Thank you. Some of what was offered was very valuable, such as the suggested science of mind point of view. Love radiates in all directions, ever present and infinite. It is not confined or limited by circumstances. When we love ourselves and when we extend love to others, we are not engaging in separate acts of love. Every expression of love, whether directed inwardly or outwardly, becomes part of this vast, interconnected flow. As we consciously choose to express love, we create space for love to grow, to rise, and to manifest more fully in the world around us. That felt true to me, especially the line, when we love ourselves and when we extend love to others, we are not engaging in separate acts of love. I firmly believe through my own life experience that we have to plant the seeds of what we desire within ourselves: love, compassion, kindness, joy, peace. Then nurture them so they can grow and reach out to others and the world. So self-love, honoring the embodiment of God we are here to be, became my focus for today. So before I continue, I just have to say that after giving up Catholicism, which was very present in my young years, I found it difficult to even say that word, God. Yet through my lifelong spiritual journey, I've realized that I truly believe in what some call a higher power, spirit, creator, or the one. My current favorite is beloved divine source and sustenance, but that's a bit much, so I decided to stick with God as a shortcut. But please insert whatever works for you. I've also been finding some great quotes in this month's Science of Mind Daily Guides, which is one of the readings that I do every morning. I'm just going to share a few, mostly those that reference starting with self-love. Katrina Mayer, loving yourself isn't vanity, it's sanity. I like that one. Lucille Ball, love yourself first and everything else falls in line. Bo Taplin, self-love is an ocean and your heart is a vessel. Make it full and any excess shall spill over into the lives of people you love. but you must fill it first. Ernest Holmes. I think everyone here knows, but in case not, Ernest Holmes was a founder of Science of Mind. Let us light the candle of love, human kindness, forgiveness, and understanding in our own soul, and let it shine brightly. And another from Ernest. Love is within us. It cannot be destroyed. It can be ignored. To the extent that we abandon love, we feel that it has abandoned us. Denying love is our only problem, and embracing it is the only answer. Through the power of love, we can let go of past history and begin again. Love heals, forgives, and makes whole. All of that gave me something very worthwhile to work with, and I had a lot of ideas to say about love's ascent. However, something in me refused to obey. Many years ago, I was told that Aquarians tend to be rebellious, and I'm a triple. So as I opened myself and listened to divine guidance for this talk, I was directed to share a presentation I gave in 2017, when the theme was true freedom. I felt a little guilty to not do what I was supposed to do. Had to get past, somebody was saying should earlier, I had to get past those shoulds. And then I remembered another Ernest Holmes quote that I decided gave me permission. Does this thing I wish to do express more life, more happiness, more peace to myself, and at the same time harm no one? If it does, it is right. It is not selfish. I find that to be such a powerful message for being who we're here to be. You actually get to hear it again later. So normally I'm quite adamant about not repeating a presentation I've already shared. Yet I feel what I was directed to do for that talk remains rather special. I recall very clearly that I felt it was dictated by spirit, of course, coming through me, and yet I felt like I was just an instrument. And as I prepared for this talk, I realized it actually addresses the concept of self-love. So just a bit of history for those who don't know. This presentation was originally given 2.5 years prior to my late husband Jad's passing. Excuse me. So there are references to him in our life then. But no worries, my new partner John is here today. Thank you, John. And when I read this to him, wondering, should I do it? He encouraged me to share it with you and actually wanted to listen again.
He's a keeper.
So how many of you like hearing music or poetry more than once? Yeah, most everybody. Me too, and that gave me further permission to break the rules, and you'll soon know why. So without further introduction, here we go. This is from June 12th, 2017, with just a few minor modifications. So today you're in for a surprise, as I sure was as I prepared for this talk. Many of you know I like poetry and write some of my own. A message from perhaps my favorite poem, Wild Geese, by one of my beloved poets, Mary Oliver, tells us that all we need to do is love what we love. Partially in response to that profound advice, I've been trying to follow what I believe are my God-given callings, and I've been inviting more intuitive guidance into my life. Wow, you know the saying, careful what you wish for, as we say in Science of Mind, what you focus on? Well, as I worked with the theme of true freedom, I was actually pushed and pulled into a poem, an epic poem for me, not 250 plus pages like Ernest Holmes and his brother Fenwick's The Voice Celestial, but the longest I've ever written. So the surprise is today's whole presentation is a poem. In a sense, I felt I wasn't free. I had to follow the impulse, and yet it was such a freeing experience to honor the calling. So are you ready? Let's jump in. I'll have to take a sip of my tea. The title is Bound to Be Free. Preparing to present, I argued with myself, thinking once again I should give up my notes, like others I see and admire, who just talk and are able to shoot from the hip and the heart. Yet I realized that I loved my beloved notes and recognized to truly be free, I need to allow myself to be me. And then the poem continued. As I prepare to present, the theme for the month becomes spiritual practice, grows me as I consciously explore and respond, then shift and evolve my thoughts, words, and even deeds. The poem flowed stream of consciousness style for days, then weeks. I let it have a life of its own, reflecting and directing me. It shifted, rambling through personal presence, being one with the moment, to mental meanderings, weaving in and out of wandering and wondering. One night, awake at 4 a.m., I found the night brightening, already welcoming morning. Early birds sang their greetings. Outside the bedroom window, dense fog rolled in soft drifts, silhouetting the circle of redwoods outside my window, lulling me back to serene sleep. At dawn, I sat by the morning fire, just enough to release the chill of the night, enjoying jasmine green tea. Out the window to the east, I admired a bright pink profusion of roses climbing on the trellis above the gate, the entrance to our small orchard. Each year, I'm delighted by their bountiful bloom. None are left in the field by the trail to Virgin Creek, where I clipped a start so many years ago, having been mowed down and replaced with a for sale sign. I focused on freedom, how we tend to think of it in terms of what we are able to do or not. Liberty, independence, autonomy, or the lack of these conditions. How freedom from what we don't want and freedom to do what we want are two sides of the same coin. Yet this month's theme is true freedom. And I thought, that isn't about what we are able or not able to do. It's about being. It's an inside job. It's defining our options, finding our possibilities, and choosing how to be present, how to respond rather than react, what consciousness to hold in each and every circumstance and situation. True freedom is choosing our commitments and what we are willing to take a stand for. It's determining how we want to be shaped and moved. It's releasing what we resist and empowering what we envision. Exploring and defining beliefs and letting go of old story that no longer serves us, both mental and experiential, creates room for what we are consciously calling into our lives, allowing us to live in integrity with who and how we choose to be. True freedom is knowing who we are and surrendering to what we love. By binding ourselves to our heartfelt values, we are bound to be free. After exploring the little themes of who made the world and what prayer is in her poem, The Summer Day, Mary Oliver asks us, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Ernest Holmes elucidates, does this thing I wish to do express more life, more happiness, more peace to myself, and at the same time harm no one? If it does, it is right. True freedom is following what brings us home to our highest self, guiding us to step up and take sacred action in the world. True freedom is fully growing into our capital S self as spiritual adults. Lao Tzu said, what the caterpillar calls the end, the rest of the world calls a butterfly. Evolving into our higher selves, fully formed, releasing old story. We fly as if floating. The poem persisted. One afternoon, while gathering raspberries, I'm looking at Susan because I wrote a poem about raspberries. Their prickly twigs clutching at my clothes, a sweet sense of intense connection to all that is infused my being. There's only one here. The next evening, as my husband entered the garden, 6 young skunks scuttled away, hurrying to hide under the woodshed. And Jack, though startled and astonished, laughed out loud and said, "It's okay. It's all right. Take your time. You have my full respect." And the poem repeated, "There's only one here." Viewing life from the perspective of spiritual law, the principles that rule the universe, we realize, comprehend, sense, know at the core of our being that there actually is only one here. True freedom sees no separation. True freedom is bound with the whole. True love sees no separation. True love is being bound with the whole. Like a giant jigsaw puzzle, a single piece doesn't make much sense, and the whole picture can't be complete without every piece. From that knowing, we grow and grasp that what goes around comes around, each individualized being coexisting, each valid and valued. How do we live in the world with peace and joy, grace and ease, honoring the sacred and celebrating life? We open to honoring our callings, knowing we are always divinely guided and supported in every moment. That gift has already been given. It's ours to accept. Our mission is to enjoy and share the gifts we've been given. The poem progressed. In the search for freedom, we are in good company of assorted, abundant, and amazing advocates for liberty, justice, and highest good for each and all. Following their footsteps, even in the face of fear, we are goaded and guided to take our stand. They have led us with lessons of liberty. We are wise to listen. Ernest Holmes. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. Rollo May. Human freedom involves our capacity to pause, to choose the one response towards which we wish to throw our weight. Nelson Mandela. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. Pope John Paul II. Freedom consists not in doing what we like, but in having the right to do what we ought. Kenny Loggins. Real freedom is creative, proactive, and will take me into new territories. I am not free if my freedom is predicated on reacting to my past. Eckhart Tolle. To know yourself as the being underneath the thinker is the stillness underneath the mental noise, the love and joy underneath the pain, is freedom, salvation, enlightenment. And John Paul Sartre. Freedom is what you do with what's been done to you. The story of a hero and inspiration was brought to mind. Imprisoned, stripped naked to skin and bones, his family gone, victims of a regime, a mindset of mastery and manipulation, Viktor Frankl realized his true identity remained intact. He wrote, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. The poem proceeded, regressing and progressing to memory and mindfulness. True freedom opens us to our metaphysical depths, even while engaged in worldly life. Years ago, mid-teens, while walking the Second Street Bridge over Alameda's Bay in Long Beach, a mystical moment swept me away, a sudden knowing in all the cells of my being that what we're here for is to serve one another, everyone and everything. Our work here is to bridge all gaps, minds and hearts merging, dissolving all sense of perceived separation, like water flowing under a bridge. Within the form, we have freedom, like a sonnet with its strict pattern of meter and rhyme, yet each poet expressing their own truth, each being living its own life, each person exploring free will on the journey back home, the path to unity and freedom. The poem wandered on. The founders of the Chart House chain of restaurants chose surfing and skiing sites for their locations. The owners, managers, and workers, most with degrees for other occupations, preferred to pursue their passions. Their jobs were a means to live the lives they loved. The Chart House in Ventura overlooked the pier and a C Street surf break. Many an evening after a day on the waves, waiters would arrive, still in wetsuits, rinsing off in the outside hot shower near the employee entrance. While working there, my husband Jack made a sign to hang over the door, saying, "Leave your bummers here. The choice is ours. The choice is ours." Founded in 1968 by the late Reverend Damian Simpson, the Universal Mind Science Church introduced me to the wonderful world of metaphysical philosophy and science of mind teachings. I recall so clearly Damian's hands held out, closed in tight fists, fingers held up. There I am. He held them like that, inviting us to imagine holding our last dime, which would certainly be at least $1, maybe 10 by now. Holding the last of whatever it is that we don't want to lose, tightly, not letting go. Damien asked us, "How will you get any more in there? The choice is ours. The choice is ours." In the 70s, I read the Seth material received by and written by Jane Roberts. The primary lessons I learned are two. The point of power is in the present. Our thoughts and beliefs create our reality. Whatever we focus on, wherever we direct our thought, consciously or not, sets the stage for what manifests in our lives. We hold the key to abundance or lack, freedom or fear, in our hands. We need never be stuck in old story. The choice is ours. The choice is ours. The poem persevered. On top of the cypress snag to the east sat a bird large enough I wondered if it was a Swainson's thrush, the elusive gifter of the gorgeous, rolling and rising, slow spiral song that has been blessing me daily for months now. As I watched, the bird turned and I saw the crested crown of a stellar jay and heard its noisy and pugnacious call, almost as if laughing at the world. A bumblebee bumped the window to the south. An osprey soared above the bishop pines. A hummingbird dipped side to side while whistling in nuptial flight, then soared straight up. A sentry quail trumpeted his call, "Where are you? Where are you?" A dragonfly darted between the wrinkled, white, papery petals of our Matilaha poppies, taller than me, their flowers like fried eggs, sunny side up. Surrounded by wings, I softened my shoulders. My epic poem concluded, having finished its business with me. Yet I exercised my freedom to have the last word and to share Mary Oliver's poem, Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the brain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese in the high, clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Take a deep breath. And another. Feel spirit filling you. Allow yourself to be nurtured, renewed, replenished, loved. We are truly free for you to be you and me to be me. And for the grand finale, I'll share what I believe to be the two most powerful and important expressions we can say to each other and to God. Thank you, and I love you. I made it without crying. And now I'm going to do our closing prayer, and I'm going to keep it a little brief and do something a little different than we normally do, because I'm going to read a line and ask you to repeat it after me. I know at the depths of my being that there's only one here. Everyone and everything everywhere is part of the whole. We're all connected. I have the freedom to be me, and I choose to love myself. In so doing, I spread justice and love to each and all, to the world. With great gratitude in my head and my heart, I release these powerful words, knowing they are already heard and acted upon. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you.